afternoon. Welcome to Advancing Northeast. And before we introduce our speaker here and move ahead with our session, I would like to begin with a little introduction of what Advancing Northeast is for our viewers who are yet not aware of our initiative. So Advancing Northeast is a digital initiative by the Ministry of Development of Northeastern Region, Northeastern Council, and Northeast Development Finance Corporation. So it is basically a one-stop solution portal in the field of education, employment, and entrepreneurship to guide the youths in terms of career and livelihood. So to carry this very aim further, we host this career talk segments where we have our work abroad and study abroad segment. And we are here with yet another episode of the very work abroad and study abroad segment. And our speaker today is Raktim Baruah. He is a PhD scholar at Friedrich Schiller University of Jena, Germany. Correct me if I'm wrong, the pronunciation. And he's working at Leibniz Institute of Photonic Technology, Jena, Germany. Also, he's from Assam itself. So welcome to Advancing Northeast once again. And
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here. So we'll start with a little introduction of yours in your own words for our audience, please.
First of all, thank you very much for inviting. Yeah, I will introduce myself. I am Raktim Baruah. I am doing PhD in Jena. So it's Jena, it's not Jena.
Okay.
So I am associated with the Leibniz Institute of Photonic Technology and the University of Jena. I studied chemistry. I did my bachelor and master's from India. I moved to Germany in 2019 for PhD.
Okay. So you did your graduation in chemistry, right? So what was the reason behind you choosing chemistry for your academics? Like, did you have any plans to take it on further? What impact did it make on your career decision?
I mean, so it started somehow in 8th or 9th standard. I think I don't exactly remember why, but always science was kind of fascinating for me. And at the time, I think also somehow I was very too much interested in what is happening in the laboratories. For example, in our 11 and 12 standard chemistry lab courses, we used to do some kind of basic practicals, and those were the things which somehow took my interest. And I mean, after that, after 12th standard, you already need to choose actually what you want to do, because it's already going to do bachelor or engineering or medical or something like that. I think somehow I was already interested in studying chemistry.
Yes, so that is how you took up chemistry. So after that, what attracted you basically to the research sector? Like you said, you were attracted towards laboratories, working in laboratories and everything. So was that the reason that you took up the research sector? And also a little about the, sector. What are the levels? What are the skills required if somebody wants to work in the field of research? Because it's a very extensive field, right? So
yeah. Growing interest in research, it's a very tough thing, I think, and I don't know actually how to recognize your interest of doing research. I think, of course, it comes from inside, that you like doing something like that, and because research is not something that I mean, in terms of the very practical thing, it's not something that you are doing on a daily basis. But of course, scientific thoughts or fantasies are always in our heads. But coming to the very practical ground, I think, so I did a few internships during my master's. I was in BRC, Mumbai, for a few months for my internship. And because the atmosphere in Park, it is completely different. And also then I started my master thesis in my university. So all these things I think somehow uh, helped me to like, decide that I should go for research. But of course, it's a very internal decision somehow.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Can you shed some light on the internships that you did? Like, how do students find out that there are such opportunities available? What was your experience? How did you find those internships, and what was your experience in doing them?
Yeah. So this internship is, I think this is a very important thing.
Mm.
There's an institute called Institute of Science Academy or something like that. So there are three institutes. Most of them are mostly based in Bangalore, and they are somehow associated with IISc, Indian Institute of Science, and they organize internship program every year for bachelor and master student, and you have to apply and of course write them a short uh, brief about what your interest is or stuff like that, and then um, they will choose basis of your application, and then usually they send the students to different institutes over the whole country. So also they give stipend of a amount. This is a very good opportunity. I think all the students should take this advantage. This is not just for like 2 months of experience. Also, it really gives you an insight of how actually practically it works. Also, I mean, some people are already decided that they want to do research, but
Okay.
then of course they need to know what they want to do, and then doing internships it helps. And other than that, usually in the field of chemistry, people are writing to professors in IITs or also other universities, and then ask for internship. Sometimes some of the internships are paid, some of them are not. Still have to manage it.
That is the process. Okay, so how do these people actually filter out the students? Like, what is the selection procedure for that?
um, I mean, in general for internship, or the one I was mentioning.
Yeah, also the one you were mentioning, or also in general, if you could highlight some points.
I don't know, but for internship, I don't think it. First of all, I don't think it's a very complicated uh, thing, because it will be, of course, like 2 or 3 months internship program, usually in the summer breaks or winter breaks. Um, I think it mostly depends on your motivation somehow, what you are writing.
Also, how you
Yeah,
approach the
yeah,
people.
that's very important.
Okay. So now coming to your university, the one where you are doing your PhD. So how did you
Mhm.
pick it up? Were you always aware about the position offered by the University of Jena, Germany, where you are doing it right now? And also,
Mhm.
what kind of research went through to get there? What was your experience? I mean, what was the process?
To get here, so first, I mean, when I was in the second semester, I guess, and I decided that I want to do PhD, and then I want to go to Germany for my PhD. And then I started. So of course, I had a few uh, topics or areas of interest. Then I started looking for people who are working in this kind of fields, and then of course I went to their webpage and read 1, 2 papers, and then I started making a list. And so I actually already started writing to people uh, via email, so it's like a very direct approach. So there I had to attach my CV and write like a nice email, nice that standard nice. And But then, so as I said, I was in Bark for some months, and then before my third semester, I guess I again went to Bark for a conference, and there I saw our professor, uh, uh, in PRC, he was also giving a talk. And I could not talk to him, but I saw him and I found him very interesting. Then later I wrote to him about if I can work with him or stuff like that. And we had an interview via Skype. Actually, I had 3 interviews, one after another. And so later, yeah, they decided to take me.
Okay. So what was your experience while giving your interviews? What do they actually look out for in the applicants?
Sometimes, so like it's a there is no such strict rules for PhD for choosing a PhD student. I think what they at least see is how dedicated you are. I mean, that's also hard to uh, decide. But when you talk to somebody, you always understand that how motivated or dedicated someone is. And then they try to understand what one did before. For example, of course, when I was doing my interview, I was presenting my master's and my internship projects. And then they started asking me several questions from that. But I don't think those are very crucial. If I gave any wrong answers, it wouldn't have much difference. But in terms of very general behavior, that, that matters a lot.
Okay, so the
Yeah.
confidence and how they present themselves. Yeah. So
Yeah, I
that,
mean,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
the approach uh, of one person to science, I think
Mm. Okay.
there's
And
no
they
good
should
or bad,
also
but
be,
yeah,
yeah, obviously clear about the concept, right? About the paper they're
yeah,
presenting and everything. So that is the basic preparation that is required, right? If
yeah,
you are applying for any position as such.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So now, can you tell us a little about the project you are working in there?
Yes. So I'm in a like a multidisciplinary research project. It's a mix between chemistry and physics. What I'm doing is I'm developing nanomaterials. So for like non-scientific background people, so let's say the stuff you see in your display, in your mobile phone. So these are glowing materials, right? Or the display now you are looking at. These kind of materials we try to develop and like synthesize and also modify them for better uh, applications. And then we try to investigate different kind of optical properties. So these displays are not I mean these materials are not only for displays or LEDs. These are used for artificial solar cells or this kind of applications. And what we are trying to do is we are trying to modify these properties so that we have better um, efficiency in the application.
Okay. That really sounds very interesting. Uh,
Yeah.
a very new idea. So, so that is your project, right? So, what are your working hours like there? How do you manage? Also, you are working also. Your about that we'll speak in the next question. But what are your working hours? How do you manage it for your
Us-
PhD?
u-
Yeah.
yeah, usually, so the work law in Germany, this is very strict. So we have different work contracts here for PhDs. So these are divided as 100%, 75%, 65%, or something like that. I think 100% if you have a 100% work contract, then it's 40 hours per week job, I guess. I mean, like 8 hours a day, yes. And so I'm in a 75% contract, so of course it is less than that according to work law. But for scientists or like people working in this research area, they are not that strict. So we can work as much you want, as less we want. And of course, as less you want would be complicated for your PhD, but I think most of us are working more than 10, 12 hours a day on a daily basis. Of course, it's not necessary if you are sticking to 8 hours a day. That also be a I forgot the second question you asked.
Yeah, no, I was speaking about your job, like about the position offered by the Leibniz Institute of Photonic Technology.
Mm-hmm.
So, a brief on it, like when did you get into your job? Like we were also studying there. So after that, you took up your job, right? So how did you come across that position? How did you get the
Yeah.
opportunity? Yeah.
So I think it's the same thing because as I said, I saw the professor in Mumbai, and then I wrote him that I want to work with you because I have this interest, and you are working in this kind of stuffs. And then actually, he is exactly not working on nanomaterials. The materials I'm working. One of his group leaders is working on that, and then he forwarded my email, and then I talked to her. My supervisor is a lady, and then actually she took another one more interview, and so the project I'm now working on is somehow related to Leibniz PhD, and that's why so my job is from there. I mean, in the end, it doesn't matter from where you are getting the money. Once you are confirmed for your PhD, they will give you money from where. So
Yeah.
where the job is actually
Okay, so your course that you are doing research on, and also your job is somehow interconnected, like right? The field.
no, sorry. Now I understand. I think there's a slight misunderstanding.
Yes, I
No,
was
yeah, because here actually PhD is seen as a job.
okay.
So
All
so I
right.
am on employment contract actually. I'm
Okay.
not not considered as a student here. So I'm also paying tax here. Uh, so that's why. So yeah, yeah. Sorry.
So okay. Right.
Working and job means it's my PhD job basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I
I
think I got
get
it.
a
Yeah.
employment visa and employment contract. So yeah.
Okay. I see. So, are there any internships or fellowship opportunities provided by your institution?
Um. Yes, they are doing that, but um I mean, for a short internship, I think it might be a problem because usually for the paid internship, um, the salary is quite less. Because also the working hours is less usually. For that, I think for them it would be really difficult to hire someone from India or other countries. Um, but other than internship, they are also offering different jobs. For example,
Mm.
a few days ago, one girl from Assam, she wrote me because there was a assistant technician kind of job, and then she came here for her interview.
Okay, so they
Um,
called her for the interview, right?
I think she approached, and then they called
Acha.
her. Yeah. But just if you leave internship, then I think there are some people come here for their master thesis. At least I know I one friend who was in Germany for her master thesis. So it's somehow a collaboration between one Indian institute and one of the institutes in Germany. They send a student from India, and he or she will do the research work here for 6 months or 8 months, and then go back write the thesis in India. So this
Okay.
is a very good opportunity, first of all, to see the labs here and then see the culture here, also explore like different topics, and then later get into PhD. It gets quite easier.
So, okay, if you begin it from your master's only, right,
Yeah.
that becomes
Yeah.
a lot easier. So, how does the job and industry market function there? Like, what are the financial aspects? Because the Northeast, if we take the context of Northeast India, then the main backdrop that comes is the financial part. So what do you think that
Mm-hmm.
the students can really go for it, right? There are opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, financial, you mean in terms of salary, right?
Yeah, salary, like how do
Yeah.
they also the process of shifting from here to there, it's a very big thing for a lot of students here. So that is the
Yeah.
reason they do not even apply. So what would you like to say about it?
Yeah. First of all, applying is not a problem at all. I think one should directly approach whenever he or she is interested. For job, I mean, I'm giving a PhD out. For jobs, it's very, very important to write a very nice email and also a very good CV. I even don't know how to write a good job kind of CV, but the CV has to be very, very good. That's what. And in terms of salary, so one thing is really good here is so different cities. You go to different cities, they have different expenses because the living costs are different, and that's why they always keep a basic salary for which is different for different cities. So whenever you are here in a 100% work contract for whatever job, you will survive somehow. You will not get less money that you cannot even eat. Something like this will never happen. So because, for example, Munich, Berlin, these places are very, very expensive, and sometimes you see that like the room rent is already more than someone earning in a small city like Jena. So of course they have to give you more money to live in that city, and but this is of course they organize it somehow, and the salary is always good.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's always very nice to hear from somebody who's actually doing it over there than to, basically research it on Google or anything. Then the
Yeah,
students tend to get confused. So I think this will
yeah,
give a lot of push to the ones who are really enthusiastic about working abroad. Yeah.
yeah.
So also, it's a very basic question, but can you break down the procedure of your experience of applying for visa and everything? Was it very, was the process very,
Uh,
like
First of all,
also your employment contract and everything?
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so for me, it was employment visa I had to apply, and for that, if I remember correctly, I needed uh, an agreement letter or host letter or something like that from my institute. So they wrote me something, and so it was saying that they are inviting me for my work and they will pay me. So basically, what you need to prove is that I will have money from somewhere in Germany to live in Germany.
Okay.
So yeah, so that later they sent me, and then the other stuffs are, I think, the normal ID proofs, and then you have to ask them for appointments and pay them something like 5,000 or 6,000. Then you get your visa. Also, I applied my visa in Kolkata. It's very, very fast, compared to other places.
Okay. So
Uh, and
you can do it in less than a month, right?
yes, yes, yes. Of course, I had a small problem because they are very strict about the payment draft. We had to make a bank draft, and then they are very, very strict about the draft because sometimes the name of the consulate is sometimes like misplaced in whatever the box is, and then they are very, very strict about it. I mean, that's not a problem, but yeah, but it can be solved. But for other visas, I think student visas are a bit different. They need blocked account of something like 10,000 euros, or I don't exactly know. Um, those are a bit different, as far as I know.
Okay. All right. So yes, so after so you have been living there for a while now. So how have you been coping up with the cultural difference there at, Berlin? Obviously, it's a lot
Um,
different than us. Yeah. So have you met, I guess you have a lot of fellow Northeastern people out there, right?
Yes, I know a few. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how
Like, has it been
well.
difficult for you to settle and adjust there, or it came
I
very
mean,
easy?
sometimes what happens is the language is a problem because German it's a tough language first of all, at least for me. And by now I know a few words to works if I go to a restaurant or um, somewhere else. But if I go to, let's say, the immigration office, um, sometimes they don't speak English. Then it's a huge mess. Then I cannot handle it. But I mean, those parts are the worst part I'm mentioning. But then, of course, there is a huge cultural difference from India to Europe. But of course, how you have to see it as an exciting thing because you see like different stuff which we don't see there, and well, it is interesting for me and meeting different people here. Uh, Also, by now I have some friends, and I don't know how I cope up with the culture, but yeah, it was interesting for me. I've been enjoying it.
Okay, so not a lot of challenges, right? Like once you get into it, then
No, no, no.
yeah,
Of
everything
course, I
works out.
one has to be a bit. I don't want to say this word, but a bit open-minded,
Yeah.
uh,
Mhm.
or adventurous.
Okay. That sounds fun. So also, you have been working under a supervisor, right? So that
Mhm.
relationship is also very well maintained, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
that is
yeah,
also a very good environment, like study,
yeah,
work, everything is very well maintained.
yeah, yeah. Usually here, it's very, very professional.
Yeah.
Um, as I said, the workflow is if the workflow is of 8 hours a day, they will not write you an email at night or call you at night asking for something, or they will never ask you to work in the in the weekends or something like that. And if like usually there are no problems, so they are extremely professional. So when someone is very, very professional, then the workflow is very, very good.
Yeah. Then that is, I think, major thing that people here need to learn from there, the professionalism and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. So also, one very important thing, like this to the people who, apply there and everything, do they need to pass any kind of compulsory English language test? Or also if
No,
they want to go to Germany, like do they really need to know German
no.
to shift there?
For PhD, they don't need anything. Any language proficiency, neither for English nor for German.
Okay.
But I think some if one guy is coming for master's or bachelor, then probably they need. I'm not sure about it, but I think some courses are only in German in some universities, and then one will need to learn German. But for English proficiency thing, we don't need.
No test needed to, okay, get in
Yeah.
there. Okay. So, for our students, for the audience who are watching, mainly our target audience is the youths of Northeast India. So, for
Mm.
them, would you like to suggest any, online courses or websites or journals to follow from where they can really learn about, working in Germany, for say, to be specific, any opportunities or job openings? How do they stay updated?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, such way. Usually, so what I've been looking at is Twitter. So for PhD or postdoc positions, Twitter is very, very helpful because in different now like research has various fields, and all these fields have like different groups. Also, research groups have their Twitter accounts nowadays. They're very, very active in social media. So one should start following these people. Also, there are some kind of bots in Twitter uh, who gives you like different updates of job opportunities, and it helps a lot. And also, I think LinkedIn, I don't have LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is very, very useful, I think, as far as I know.
Yeah.
In terms of website, these are the only things I.
Mhm.
Other than that, for applying for PhD, I think it's very, very important to first of all figure out what one wants to do, and then look for different groups, not universities. Like, of course, you will find groups through universities. That's a different thing, but you have to figure out, okay, this group is doing this group is doing this, and then you write them. That's I think the best option. Also, sometimes they advertise their positions, and of course, then there also one can apply.
Yeah, so also online courses and certifications, if the students can, do them, those
Mm-hmm.
are also really beneficial, right?
I think so, yeah. Nowadays, so many people are using Coursera, or what is it called,
Mhm.
for uh, machine learning, Python, etc. And
Okay.
these are useful, I
So
guess.
you
Yeah.
have had no need specifically to, take up those courses till now, right?
No, I did not. But one should do that. Do that. It
Yeah.
helps develop your skills. Yeah.
Yeah. And if somebody wants to apply to the institute you are working it specifically,
Mhm.
so where do they stay updated? Where do they get the informations from?
Um, so IPHT, they are advertising on their own website. So of course, one will have to look at their website. But I think
Okay.
that will be too much
So
of work
they
from
put
India.
up the
Yeah.
job alerts and openings and everything there, right?
Yeah.
So, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that we have almost covered everything that we wanted to know.
Yeah.
And you have said really, important things and beneficial things for the students out there. So lastly, any message for the youths who are really enthusiastic, like who have been dreaming to work and study abroad someday? Any message?
Well, I will not say anything courageous, but I think I
Mhm.
missed one important point.
Yeah, sure.
Um, um, so I think most of the people know who are looking for PhDs in Germany that so there's one program called DAD.
Okay.
So
That.
it's DAAD.
Okay.
It's a German word. I don't know how to say it. It's some kind of German exchange program. So DAAD is one of the very known research program. So it's a fellowship program actually. You have to apply in the fellowship program. First of all, you need one host professor here. So with him or her, you will write a research proposal to that, and then they will grant you, and then you can work here. That's one of the very, very good ways of being into Germany. And then I think everyone should go to the DAD website and check for different positions because they have several options listed.
Opportunities. Yeah.
And then also in terms of fellowship, these are also, I guess, mentioned in their website. Humboldt Fellowship, Marie Curie. And through these fellowship programs, one can apply for PhD positions. And then to sum it up, um, it's for me it is easier to write directly to the professor, just telling him why you are interested and what you are going to do, and like stuff like that, and also attaching one CV. And also some of the universities, if one is looking for different universities, some of the universities are providing scholarships, like women in science kind of scholarship. So girls have one advantage of writing there in those fellowships. So yeah, these are the different possibilities where one can write for PhD positions in Germany.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I think this will be very, very important and useful for the audience. Yeah, I'll
I
also
hope
put
so.
it put this up in the comments section along with the video and everything so that everyone can
Mhm.
look for it. Also, any words of advice, like uh,
I,
in particular, you want to give any message?
Yeah, I don't know what advice. I think it's very important to recognize your interest. That's the
Okay,
most
yeah.
important part, and that one should put some time for themselves
Mm,
and then understand what he or they want to do,
okay.
either
That is
research
the,
or
I
something
mean,
else.
the very beginning, right? Identifying
Yeah,
your interest and then the process
yeah,
goes on. Yeah,
yeah.
okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. We had a lovely time having you. And
Thank you very much
yeah,
for having me.
we'll put up the videos shortly, and also the people watching us can connect with us in case you have any queries regarding, and we'll let you connect with our speaker here. Yeah.
Yes, yes. One can write me.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.